What's going on, guys? I'm Jim Ansel and this is Real Deal Outdoors. I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks, and it's been because I haven't really had any time to go out fishing. There's been so much going on, the holidays are coming, things are just getting busy, and I haven't been able to get out there and chase those fall bass like I've really wanted to. But this week has been a really good week for me. I've gotten a ton of tackle this week. I got a box of stuff from Carl's Bait and Tackle. I got a $20 reward from Dick's, so I went and I got $20 of free tackle from Dick's this week. And then my wife had to go down to Raleigh and take a class, so I went down with her and visited the Bass Pro Shop down there while I was in town. And I found a couple of things that I've been looking for a really long time, so I picked that stuff up while I was down there. So I kind of just wanted to do a video where I show you guys some of the new stuff I picked up. You know, Christmas is coming. Maybe you guys are thinking about what you want for Christmas, or maybe you're just thinking about what you're gonna get the fishermen in your life for Christmas this year. But there really is a lot of really cool stuff that I've gotten this week, so let's jump right on into this video and check some of this stuff out. Okay, so one of the first things that I got here is one of the coolest new lures that I've used this year. This is the Phantom Spider from Lunker Hunt. I got it for, I think it was $8.99. I picked it up at Dick's with that reward cash that they gave me. As you guys might have saw, I had a white one in a previous video that I actually lost. I think I lost it to a grinnell, some kind of a toothy fish. So I picked this up to replace that one that I lost. It works really well. It's kind of like a topwater frog, one of the hollow body topwater frogs, but it's a lot more compact, and it doesn't look like it because of these legs, but the body is a lot smaller. It's a smaller profile, and it's got smaller hooks on it, and those hooks have a thinner wire. They're a thinner gauge hook. So you're gonna get better hook penetration with this thing than you would your typical hollow body frog, which means more hookups, which means more fish that you're gonna land. And this thing just looks fantastic in the water. The action is really good. So I've been really impressed with this lure. This is something that if you were looking at it and you were thinking, it's gonna be something gimmicky, it really does work. So y'all check that out. It's definitely something that you should think about adding to your arsenal. It catches fish, man. Okay, so these next couple of lures that I got because striper season is in, and it's been in for a couple of weeks. The striper around here love rattle traps. We're catching them in brackish water. None of the striper that we have here are really huge. They don't get as big as the ones like you catch down at like the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. You know, you're not gonna catch a 20 or 30 pound striper in the bay around here, but they do love big rattle traps. This is one of the biggest ones that Bill Lewis makes. It's a 1 ounce. It's got saltwater hooks on it. It's just a really beefy, big rattle trap, and it's gonna catch big fish. I also got one that's a little bit smaller. This is still bigger than the standard size rattle trap. This is a 3/4 ounce, and the color is called Cigar Minnow, and they really love this thing around here. You know, what I love about this lure is it's nice and heavy. You can get a really long cast with one of these lures. If you're casting into the wind, you definitely want something a little heavier. These things, you can get a ton of distance out of these. They work really well. I mean, you can catch multiple species of fish on these things. I've caught red drum on these. I've caught striped bass on these. I've caught largemouth on these. I think it's one of the best all-around lures that money can buy. It's just so versatile. It works so well. The rattles are awesome. One of the best lipless cranks for sure. And you know, being that I fish in brackish water, having those saltwater hooks, both of these are saltwater, by the way. Having those saltwater hooks on here, it just makes these lures last a whole lot longer. It might seem like overkill to some folks, but these things are just awesome. All right, next up on the list, I've got a couple of things here. Dude, these things are super hard to find in my area, and those are Mann's jelly worms. You used to be able to walk into any store and find Mann's lures on any shelf anywhere in the country. They're becoming a lot harder to find now. These lures that I've got here are huge. This one is a 12-inch jelly worm and watermelon red flake, and this one down here is an 8-inch, and those are the grape jelly worms. Now, the reason that I love these things so much is because I caught my personal best on a Mann's jelly worm when I was only 8 years old. It was a grape Mann's jelly worm, a lot like this one. I think it was a 6-inch, not an 8-inch. But I had that thing rigged up on a Carolina rig, and I was dragging it real slow on the bottom of a pond, and I hooked into an 8¼ pound bass. That's what hooked me on the sport of fishing. So Mann's jelly worm holds a special place in my heart, man. These things are awesome. Now, let me tell you guys something. A lot of dudes are really intimidated by the size of these worms. And I'm telling you, man, these 12-inch worms, they're absolutely huge. Let me just take one out and show you guys, okay? This is the 12-inch worm, and it takes up the entire frame. And just so that you guys have some kind of reference as to how big this thing is, I'm a big dude. This is my hand. That jelly worm is big. And a lot of guys, they're afraid to throw a bait this big. And I can understand why, because the thing looks huge. But let me tell you guys something, man. The first time that you put one of these things on and you throw it and you catch a bass that weighs less than a pound, it's going to change the way that you think about bass fishing. It's going to make you alter the way you think about things, because little fish will eat this worm. And I've caught tons of bass a pound and less on these worms. So don't be afraid to hook this thing up and throw it. Now, I will say that one of the problems that I've run into with these large worms is short strikes. I have had many a strike on these worms where the bass did not inhale the worm. And you know, the result is you get a worm that's kind of bitten in half. And that right there is going to bring me to the next thing that I picked up while I was in Raleigh. And I'm going to show you guys that right now. And you're going to think this is absolutely ridiculous. So the short strikes that I get with those massive worms leads me to this product. And this is something that I have been looking for over a year, and nobody carries these things in stock. I went to Bass Pro, I went to Dick's, I went to all the local shops. Nobody carried these things. It was difficult to find them. But I finally did when my wife went and took this class in Raleigh, and I got a chance to go down there and hit the Bass Pro shop. They had some in stock, and that is the Oversized worm hooks by Owner. As far as I know, Owner are the only ones that make these hooks. They make an 11-aught version, and they make a 7-aught version. Now, I got the 11-aughts for the 12-inch worms. I got the 7-aughts for the 8-inch worms. Now, these hooks are massive, and I think they're going to help with the hookup ratio. The reason I say that is because typically when a fish short strikes those worms, he bites it off right at the middle of the worm. There's that segment there that separates the front of the worm from the back of the worm, and typically it'll be bitten off right there. This hook actually travels down to about where that segment is. Now, so you guys get a sense of what I'm talking about, I've got one of those 12-inch worms here sprawled out across the table, and this is the 11-aught hook from Owner. You can see that that hook is going to travel quite a ways down the body of that worm. Now, just so you guys have something to compare it to, this hook is your standard 5-aught heavy-duty hook from VMC. There's quite a bit more hook there. So it's going to travel a lot further down that worm's body, and I think it's going to improve my hookup ratio. You'll see a lot of guys online, they say, oh, you don't have to worry about it. Short strikes really aren't a problem. You should just hook it up with the 5-aught and you'll be fine. In my experience, you are going to get short strikes that way. There's a lot of guys online that you'll see, they've made videos about making stinger hooks. Like they'll tie a piece of fishing line down here and they'll put another hook towards the tail of the worm. I do not suggest that you do that. If you're a catch and release fisherman, don't do it. You're going to gut hook a lot of fish. You know, you're not going to return those fish to the water in a healthy way. So those great big massive hooks weren't the only terminal tackle that I picked up this week. I got a nice little variety of Swimbait hooks this week as well. Of course, I've got my heavy duty VMC Swimbait hooks. I love these things. You know, VMC have always been one of my favorite hook manufacturers. They make really good, solid hooks. And these heavy duty Swimbait hooks, I've been using them for a few years now, and I just love them. I love the weights. I love the bait keepers. You know, they're just a good solid hook, and they're awesome to have around. Now, while I was down in Raleigh at Bass Pro this week, I found what I thought was a pretty good deal. They had some of the Trocar Eagle Claw Swimbait hooks down there, and it's a pack of 10 of them. It doesn't say what the weight of these is, but it's a 5-aught hook, and it's going to work really well with my 4 3/4 inch Exo Swims that I've got. So these are really going to come in handy. And it says in there that they're a Bass Pro Shop exclusive, so I think the only place you can pick these things up is Bass Pro. I think I got them for like $8 and change. And like I said, there's 10 of them in the pack. That's a pretty good deal because I usually spend about $6 on the VMC ones, and there's only 4 of those in a pack. So This is pretty cool right here. Then I picked up a couple more things from Owner. Owner makes a really good solid hook too. And I thought these underspins right here looked like they were going to work really well with the Exo Swims that I've got. The 3 1/4 inch Exo Swims, I got these 1/0 hooks for right here. And these are just going to work perfect for those smaller swim baits. And then I've got some 5/0s over here, and these are going to work really good for the 4 3/4 inch Exo Swims. All right, next up, I've got an assortment of Googan line. You can see I picked up some 12-pound mono, some 17-pound fluoro, and I've got some 65-pound braid here that I'm probably going to use for my frog rod. I got an assortment here that I can throw on the different rigs that I've got. I've heard good things about this stuff. I haven't tied it on yet to check it out and see for myself, but I'm looking forward to getting some of my reels strung up with this stuff so that I can take it out and put it through its paces. Okay, so now comes the fun part. We're about to get into this box. So Carl's Bait and Tackle had a promotion going during Halloween week. And what they did was they had kind of like a scavenger hunt, and they put these clues out there, and you went through their shop using those clues and tried to find what baits they were talking about. And if you found the baits, they gave you 50% off of that bait in the cart. And so I did that, and this is what I got. So the first thing we got in here is a lipless crankbait that we've covered in an episode of The Juice, and it's called the Thwacker. Now, the Thwacker is Carl's Amazing Baits version of the lipless crank, and it does have a rattle. It comes in a variety of different colors, and this one is really cool looking. I like this crawl color. I think it's going to work really good when springtime comes around, so I'm looking forward to getting that out there and giving that a try. You know, the next thing that we've got in the box is another one of Carl's Amazing Baits. This one's called the Golden Boy. It's a square bill crank. It looks really, really nice. It says it dives to 3 to 5 feet. It's in a pretty neat looking color pattern. It's another one of those things that I can't wait to get out there and try. I haven't gotten a Golden Boy before. This is the first one, so I'm looking forward to trying this thing out. Okay, so next up we've got one of the Googan lures, and this is called the Flat Banger. It's their version of the flat-sided square bill crankbait. It says that it dives 3 to 6 feet. It's got a good rattle in there. It's a one knocker, and I really like those one knocker rattles. You know, they've released a lot of new Googan lures this year, and this was one of the first hard lures that they released, and it looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to work really well. Another thing that I'm really happy to add to the arsenal, and I can't wait to get it out there and give it a try. Okay, so the rest of the stuff that's in this box is just random stuff that they put together in a grab bag. One of the items that they had on there was a grab bag, and so what it is you can choose a bass grab bag or a multi-species grab bag, and they will throw a bunch of stuff into the box and send it out to you. And so that's what this stuff is. And I got to tell you, I was pretty impressed with the amount of hard lures that I got in this box. So to start us out, we've got one of the original hula poppers, and it was cool to see this in here. They've sent me a few of the Hula Popper 2.0s, but I got to be honest with you guys, I really love the old school design of the original Arbogast Hula Popper. And this is a large one. This is a really big one. I'm looking forward to getting this out there, man. Hula Poppers have always been a producer for me. It's one of my favorite topwater lures, so I was happy to see that in there. So these next couple of lures are lures that I've gotten in previous mystery tackle boxes. I actually think this one right here, the Agitator, I think I got one of these in last month's mystery tackle box, if I'm not mistaken. It was just in a different color pattern. It's a lipless crankbait. It says that it's an MTB exclusive, and I'm looking forward to getting that out there and trying it. We've also got here another one of these X gears from Lucky John, and I got this in a mystery tackle box 2 or 3 months ago. And it's a really cool looking lure. I've never gotten the chance to try this out yet, but I think it's going to work just fine. Next up, I've got this Cowboy Topwater from Castaic. I got to be honest with you guys, I'm not really digging the color pattern. I'm not a real big fan of the clown colored lures. That's what I call them, our clown colored lures. I've got no doubt that this thing is going to work. You know, it's a walk the dog style bait. Walk the dog style baits work pretty well around here. And really the only color that the fish sees is the belly of that thing, which is kind of a silver color. Just me personally, I'm not a big fan of the real flashy, shiny, weird colored lures like this, but I'm sure it'll catch some fish. And then lastly, we've got a few bags of soft plastics in here. We've got some Cinco worms from Big Bite Baits, and this is a really flashy color. I really like these. I think that they're gonna work really well. I mean, Cinco's You can't go wrong with a Senko. Then I've got some more big bite baits, and these are probably the smallest paddle tail swim baits that I have ever seen in my life. They're made for crappie fishing. It was a bass box, but I got a package of crappie lures in here. I've got no doubt they're gonna catch a ton of crappie. So I guess when crappie time rolls back around, I'll get these things out and we'll catch some crappie with them. And then we've got some of these Z-Man drop shot lures. They're called the Trick Shots. It's a color called Meat Dog. It's kind of a purpley color. I've seen some folks get these in their mystery tackle boxes. I haven't gotten any yet. This is the first time that I've received them. I've seen some folks get these in their mystery tackle boxes in the last couple of months. So I'm happy to have these. I'll use these for sure, and I'm sure that they'll catch fish. I really love the Elastec stuff because it's just so durable. I mean, it's really stretchy. It's really durable. You can catch a ton of fish on one of these, whereas a lot of other soft plastics, you might get 1 or 2 fish before the thing just falls apart. Now, one thing I will tell you about these, don't store these with your regular soft plastics. And I learned that the hard way. I didn't read all the little warnings and stuff on the package. These will ruin your other soft plastics, so don't store these with your other soft plastics. And then finally, we got a bag of soft plastics from a company I've never heard before, Sweet Spot Tackle. It looks like kind of a trick worm and watermelon red flake. You know, you can't go wrong with a lure like this. It's one of the standard designs that catches fish. And so I know these are gonna work, no question. So there you go. There was a lot of cool stuff there, as you guys can see. Even though I haven't been able to go fishing much over the last couple of weeks, I've still had fish on the brain. I've got some really cool new tackle, and I'm looking forward to doing some new videos with this stuff here real soon. You know, hopefully there was some takeaways in this video for you guys. Hopefully you saw some stuff in there that maybe you hadn't seen before. Maybe you saw some stuff that you had heard about, but you didn't really know too much about it. That's really what I want this channel to be about. I want you guys to get a takeaway from every video, something that you guys can apply to what you're doing where you're at. So hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go down and subscribe. We're gonna be doing a lot of cool stuff here in the coming months. I know that I keep saying that. The videos are coming a lot slower than what I would like for them to. I've been busy, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. I got a new job. I don't have as much time as I used to have to fish and do the things that I like to do, but I'm really enjoying the new job. It's really fulfilling, and I'm having a good time with that. So I definitely want to take the time to get as good as I can at doing the new job that I have. You know, if that means I got to sacrifice some fishing time, then so be it. But we are going to do some new fishing videos here. I've got some new equipment in the works. I'm going to beef up the production value of these videos as much as I can. I want to be able to provide you guys with the best fishing entertainment that I can with all the resources that I have available to me. So hey guys, if you like the video, make sure you go down and hit that thumbs up button. It lets me know that you guys like what's going on here. And hey, leave me a comment too. Let me know what your favorite lure was from this video. Give me some ideas for future videos. You know, I really do appreciate those comments, and I answer every single one of them. Lastly, keep your eyes peeled. Either this week or next week, Mystery Tackle Box is going to drop a brand new episode of The Juice. That's a segment that I do for those guys on the new baits that are coming to shopcarls.com. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And when that drops, make sure you head over there and check that new video out. There's some really cool lures in this new episode. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you guys being here. Tight lines until next time.